Hi, my name is Debra Worthington. I am a member of the International Listening Association, and the video you're watching today is number 3 in our series of 10 listening tips. We're providing these tips to help you become a better listener and to prepare for the International Day of Listening, which is September 21st, 2017. Tip number 3, listen with an open mind to what the other person has to say. So why is this important? Well, first of all, open-minded listening is a key component of authentic conversations. It's an important way of building, maintaining, and nurturing the relationships that we have with others. Now, it's important to make note that this doesn't mean that we always have to agree with someone. It doesn't mean that we can't hold our own opinions. But open-minded listening does, however, signal to others that we value them as people, so much so that we're willing to consider what it is that they have to say, even perhaps when we disagree with them. So when we truly listen to others, when we open our minds to their perspective, to their point of view, it leads to, of course, better understanding, hopefully fewer misunderstandings, and improved relationships. But sometimes open-minded listening can be difficult to do, and there's a number of reasons why this occurs. I'm going to touch on 2 of them today. The first is fear. Oftentimes we don't engage in open-minded listening because we fear that that information is going to, say, challenge the values, the beliefs, the opinions that we hold. Other times we fear change. Perhaps that it may change the way in which we, do things at work or in our personal life. All of these can lead us to dismiss what the person is having to say. The second reason is conflict. Of course, when we are in conflict with someone, this is probably the time when we really should be working very hard to engage in open-minded listening. But let's face it, oftentimes this is when we tend to do it the least. And there's several reasons for this. First of all, when we are in conflict with someone, we tend to trust them less. We oftentimes will listen for information that leads us to rebut what it is that they're saying. Essentially it's ammunition, if you will, that we're looking for to support our view in the argument. And of course, emotions are running high. We may be upset, we may be angry, and all of these things, again, work together to lead us to dismiss what the person has to say. So what can we do to encourage open-minded listening? So there are several things that we can do, and I'm going to touch on about 3 or 4 today. First, be aware of our own biases. When we recognize and acknowledge our personal biases, is the first step in being able to address them. So when we are at work, we should be really, judging ideas based on their merit, not whether we like somebody or dislike them. A second thing is expose ourselves to new points of view. A hallmark of an open-minded listener is someone who is interested in other people and other things. These are people who are curious and they want to learn. Greater knowledge helps us to distinguish between, say, accurate and inaccurate information, and helps us to reduce the tendency to prejudge information that we're unfamiliar with. The next thing is avoiding the rebuttal trap. That is, as I mentioned before, with regards to conflict, oftentimes when we're in conflict with someone, we just listen for that information that's going to help us build our own case. Well, we really should be listening to the full message, because when we do so, this can tell us what that person is really trying to get at. It may tell us about their underlying emotions or give us more and very important information about the situation that we wouldn't have otherwise. All of this boils down to developing self-control, patience, and self-discipline. Self-control to reduce, say, negative nonverbal behaviors that we may engage in. This may be rolling our eyes, looking away, turning, physically turning from that person just simply because we don't like what we're hearing. It is patience to listen fully to the message and not interrupt while they're talking to us. And it's self-discipline to avoid jumping to conclusion, to acknowledge our biases, to take the time to critically evaluate and assess the information that that person is providing. Okay. So in conclusion, open-minded listening can sometimes be hard to do, but the reward is great and it's very well worth the effort. Again, my name is Debra Worthington, and I want to thank you for listening today. I hope that you'll join me and other members of the International Listening Association in celebrating the International Day of Listening on September 21st, 2017. You can check out more about the day at the International Day of Listening's website. in terms of how to participate, as well as get more tips on how to be a more effective listener. So again, thank you for listening.